All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have an amazing show for you all today with the illustrious Chanel. She got a lot going on. We got some things to dive into from her work, from web series, docs, from producing, directing, like all of it, and getting into the festival circuit. We have so much to get into, and also just this beautiful topic, about like being grown. What it means to be grown, thinking you grown, with Black women and um, how this narrative is important for the culture. So thank you and welcome, Chanel Dupree.
I'm gonna give you that's your like Arsenio Hall whoop whoop whoop. That's your
Thank
like
you. I think that. All right.
hey, how
Yes.
you doing?
Doing well. We got a lot to get into, but we want to get into your journey. So to start off, I do have a trivia for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I want to know, would you rather do your own like empowerment series, or you think you've grown for young women for the summer, where they can just explore who they are, be free with being into whatever they're into, whatever they're told that they're grown about, they have that freedom to understand who they are and own it? Or would you rather do like a cross, I would say, country tour with the film?
Ooh. I would love to do a summer program with girls. And as much as I want people to see the film, and I do plan to like tour it around and things like that, you can always like submit it to festivals, and then people from other cities and towns can do that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think like when it comes down to like boots on the ground, really being about this work,
Mm-hmm.
and creating memories and legacy and grace and patience and education for young girls, and giving them a space where within this couple of hours, like a summer camp or something like that, you can be free, you can
Mm-hmm.
express yourself, you can be honest with me, you can be heard, you can be seen. Oh my God, I
Mm-hmm.
would love that.
Yeah.
Stop. Now you got me thinking. That's so beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful. And especially since like summer camps are kind of sort of like fleeting a little bit.
Yeah.
Just recently, I was asking my best friend's mom about her younger sibling, and oh, is she gonna get like a little summer camp job? Da, da, da. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Girl, that is not even a thing anymore. These kids' summer jobs are like going on the computer and like being a virtual assistant." So I would love that.
What?
Yes, I miss seeing like a little black girls like playing double dutch and like
Yeah.
hopscotch and things like that outside. I
Mm-hmm.
miss that. I would love to do something like that.
Yes. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hey, it might be going on 2025.
Listen, we
Time.
gonna collab on this. Do you got the Atlanta chapter? Because I
Yeah.
would do it. I
Yeah.
would do a cross tour of the program every summer and pick a different state.
Ooh, I like that. I like
Oh,
that.
that's
We
beautiful.
go pow out later about that. All right. That's beautiful. Okay. Awesome. So I want you to tell us, like, who is Chanel? Like, where are you from? And who was the first person to inspire you to be a creative entrepreneur?
So I am from Brooklyn, New York, specifically Brownsville. It's
Whoop, whoop.
hard. Whoop whoop. It's a really hard neighborhood, but I got
Hmm.
out of it alive.
Hey.
By the skin of my teeth, girl. Oh, the first person I could really think about was Debbie Allen.
Mm.
Debbie Allen. Like, so I have always been like a boisterous person. I've always had a big
Hmm.
personality. And when you are that as a black girl, they want you to stand in the middle and in your family and like make everybody laugh. But they don't really like preserve the joy that you have. They don't really like nurture the joy that you have. You're just there for entertainment. And then it's like, okay, be quiet now, be small
Hmm.
now. And so
Hmm.
watching her in fame and watching how alive and just free she was inspired me. And then knowing who she was, like knowing that
Hmm.
most of the things we saw her in, she was executive producer, she was the writer,
Hmm.
she was the main actress. Like she was the first person I saw that was so hyphenated. And I was like,
Yes.
it's her. Like
Yes.
I love her, my North Star. I love
Oh
her.
my God. I always call her, that is that was my muse. That
It
is the
was.
goal. She is the goal.
She
Everything.
is.
She
And
is.
still,
It's not what she was, she is, she going. It's like she
yes.
nonstop. And I'm like, I
I
was
want to do a
really
documentary on her. If I ever was to be tasked with a biopic
uh-huh.
documentary, I want to do it on Debbie
Oh,
Allen.
we on that.
Her life
I'm
is
with you. Let me
fascinating.
know. Let me know if we can do
Yes.
this. Because
Ugh.
I'm there. Because I was like literally in directing. So you say, so she is a director in her greatest right and choreographer. That's what I love.
In a time when Black women were not allowed to do that.
And it stems to her family. Her Felicia Rashad is her sister, but their mother.
Yes.
Her like instilled so much in them. Like you can literally be whatever you want to be. Like, and their mother was a writer. She has her own program for children and literacy. It's like literally taking all your gifts and going to that highest extent. It's just like ingrained
and that's what happens when you listen to your children. You know what I mean? She had 2 Black girls. She could have told them, this is what your life is going to be.
Yeah.
But she listened to them and she nurtured their natural born gifts. Yeah. There's so many people that are stifled into the people that they are today. And it's like, we would have been robbed of Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen if their mama didn't like nurture that.
Exactly. I love that. And I'm thinking about a story. I went to a film festival before and Felicia Rashad was there and someone was like, yes, girl, and she spoke, but they asked her, it's like, what are your tips on becoming an actress? I want to be an actress. She was like, be an actress. That's all she said. I was like, drop the mic. But it was
out
like,
there and act.
Yes, they're just like, do it, like, be it. And I'm just like, it's just so simple as that. So yes, you picked you out. Me and you on the same page. Like,
that's my
people,
girl. I love that woman.
If y'all all could just look at Debbie Allen's story, even Felicia Rashad, and all they've done and just they continue to do, they are working, living, breathing artists, and it's real. It's a real lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a fantasy. You know, you make it your own. So that's a beautiful example. Those are my examples too. So, yes, girl, that was a good one. All right. So with that, tell us like more about what is artistic laughter. You know, how'd you get started on your journey?
So that just started out as a hilarious, like my Instagram name. Honestly, I was like, I'm artistic and I like to make people laugh. Boom! Like, you know, when Instagram came out and it was very new to social media, and it was like, what's your username? And I was like, I guess it's gonna be this. But then as I started to create work, and I have comedic work in my portfolio, and just the antithesis of like who I am, I just feel like I was meant to do 2 things. I was meant to create and I was meant to make people laugh. Now, I may not do them both at the same time because, you know, with the documentary, it was a very serious topic, and then with Black retail, it's funny, but in either realm, I am here to spread joy, and I'm also here to spread awareness in my artistic way. So I think over time, I grew into the name that I set out for myself, and then it made sense for it to be my production name, because I've had it since I was like 19, 20 years old.
Beautiful. Okay. Now tell us, what was your eureka moment? What was that moment where you were like, I'm going to do this production company, I'm going to start these series? Like, what came to you?
So you and I remember when Black people just erased off of television. It was like Derwin left Melanie at the altar to go check on Janae's baby.
Everything was gone.
Black people were, the UPN was snatched from us.
And
we had nothing. And so we went to YouTube, and that's when Issa Rae and Black and Sexy TV saved us, girl.
Yes.
And watching Awkward Black Girl and Roomy Lover Friends and Hello Cupid, the real ones know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Miss Numa, what's not for Numa?
Baby, kept us afloat. And I was just like, at that point, I had worked in theater for many, many years. I was an actress, but I was also a playwright. And I've always wanted to write for television and film. Ever since I saw Eve's Bayou, I was like, I want to do that. But I was afraid. I was nervous. I was like, how do I do something like that? Like, how do I get into the industry and like find my way? And watching Issa's Upcline, and then Insecure came out, and it was the year that like Insecure in Atlanta had their premieres the same like weekend or something like that. And I just looked at it and I was like, I'm doing it. It was just, I laughed, I was enthralled, I was invested, and I was like, I can do this. Let's just go. And I've written scripts already. I've written plays. So I was like, I know the character work. I know all that stuff. I may not know the structure of screenwriting. Looked up what it looks like. It looks very similar to plays. And then I wrote my first film.
Wow.
That was just, I was just inspired to do it because when something is taken from you, like, you know, I was a kid that was like a different world. The Huxtable Show, which is what I like to call it. Martin, the Jamie Foxx Show, Steve Harvey Show. Black one-on-one, the game, like it was everywhere, and then it was taken from us.
Yeah.
So I felt like, will it ever come back? And to see people just like grabbing a camera, grabbing some mics, and just doing it themselves, and then seeing how that led them to a career where now the masses know who they were, it really inspired me. That's what did it.
Oh, lovely. This is so, we gotta do like a whole masterclass about this, or like a powwow, like this moment in time, and like do like an honor these people, because it's literally there for so many people. And Scylla was one of our recent guests, and she spoke to that too. It was like that whole like awkward Black girl. And I spoke for that too. It wasn't even Insecure. It was awkward Black girl.
It was awkward Black girl. Yes.
Oh, I could do this, make it happen, like get some folks involved, and just I'm there, I'm going up, and also I can entertain the folks that I even want to entertain at the end of the day. Because I'm not even here sometimes to create for the masses. I'm here to create for my culture, for my people.
Right.
So,
I remember sharing her Issa's Kickstarter link like on
platforms,
and like watching the number go and like buying merch. Like it was a whole, like it was her by herself. Of course she had like a team, but it was mainly like doing what we do, like an indie filmmaker, just trying to find her audience and really trying to put it out. And watching like the groundwork, I was like, oh, I can do that.
Exactly. And her saying is focusing on story. At the end of the day, but all of that taught me with all of them, have a good story. You know, the story will take you wherever. Just focus on, again, that goes in focusing on our craft, right? Focus on your craft. Once you do that, the folks gonna attract to you. It's given right there. But as long as you stay authentic to your craft and work on it and put it out there, that's literally it. So yeah, that was it. That's the same one for same Eureka for me too. Like
yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the creators on Black and Sexy TV. Y'all got us through.
Shout out to all y'all got us through. Yeah, listen, I remember, like, I literally called them the blueprint. Like, I called like Numa and then like Issa, I called them all the blueprint, and that was what got me to New York and why I was going to move out there and work with some folks, and let's do this in New York too, and create some things together. So I got to work with some really good people who I'm still now creating with, and that's what it's about too. Like us literally building creatively as a culture, you know, as a community. So yes, okay, all right. So with that, I want to know, what are some of your tips, right? So one with your artistry, one with owning, like having your own production company, and one on wellness as an artist.
You have to be a student. In order to be an artist, you have to be a student. And I'll tell people, scene study, watch shows. If you say you want to write television, want to write comedy, watch comedies. And then I'm often said, well, I don't want to steal from them. I don't want to like make a mistake. And you know, you can't, an artist doesn't steal. You can't. If you're stealing, then you're not an artist.
Exactly.
So I would say study. If you listen to Jordan Peele and you ask him what is his favorite horror films, they span like 50 years between the years that they came out, because he is a student of those movies. And that's why people have such a good time when Jordan Peele comes out with something, because they get to like pick and choose the Easter eggs, because it's typically like, I remember on like Us, people were picking out references from a movie that came out in the 70s. You know what I mean? And that's because he's such a student at it. So it makes consuming his work, his artistry, so amazing, because we're in a big like consumerism era. Like anyone can make something and be like, okay, this is art with kind of no intention behind it. So have intention behind your work. When it comes to ownership, copyright every single thing. Copyright every single thing. Be careful who you share your things with. I've heard some really bad stories of people sharing scripts back and forth with someone who they trust to get notes from, and sharing like rough cuts of their film and people stealing it and things. If you have your paperwork together, if you have your copywriting together, everything is going to go smoothly. Just make sure that you turn a business brain on separate from your creative brain, because sometimes we can forget and we can not organize the invoices and not make sure contracts are signed, or not make sure. You have to make sure each and everything, especially if you're a producer's brain is both logical and creative, and you have to know when to turn those off and on. When it comes down to your well-being, that is something like if you were to ask my friends, what are the questions I ask them after any shoot that seems really personal to them? I'm like, how did you take care of yourself? How did you make sure that you were good? Because as artists, sometimes we feel like, I am meant to bleed for my work. And it's like, girl, we don't want you to drop dead.
Exactly. Pass the heck out.
To put out hello. And I've seen so many artists that are unhappy because it's like, well, at least like I bled for the work and I have this art here that shows, and that's not what it's about. It's about going through whatever life experience that we do. You heal through that, you experience through that, and you can create art, but you are still a human being that has to take care of yourself. So for me, like this project that I want to do this year, because I've been itching to be back on set. It's the first year I haven't been on set in a while. And I want to do one on my experience with medical racism in the health in the medical field. And I made sure that I checked in and I was like, am I okay to discuss this? You know what I mean? This issue that I just experienced was recent. Do I feel okay? When I read over the script, when I think about the shoot, when I think about what it's going to put me through as the vessel that has to put this out, how am I? So give yourself check-ins. And if you're not ready, the story can come out another day, another year, another month. It doesn't have to be right now, but you yourself, once the movie is done and out in post-production, you have to watch it over and over and over and over and over again. So you have to relive a lot of things. Make sure that the reliving doesn't feel so present.
Yeah. Woo! Go. Let's get some snacks. All right. RareMavens, we're going to get some snacks. All of that.
Come on, poet.
Those are some gems. Okay? RareMavens. I hope y'all took as many notes.
We're artists, you know what I mean? Like I loved watching interviews growing up of like all my favorite comedians and artists, and Jim Carrey was like, comedians are the saddest people, artists are the saddest people, and I was just like, and I'm never gonna be that.
Period.
Not gonna be me.
Period. Because what stood out to me, what you're saying at the end of the day, is intention. It's like having the intention, with our work, with how we take care of ourselves, with who we want to share our work with, and how we get it out there in our business. It's like really being intentional with all the things that we do, because again, like the art, that's what we do. That's not like who we are. That's what we do. And that's what people, even me, I have to constantly tell myself that, like, I am still a human being. Like, I have to live, like you said, these lived experiences, these things we go through, that fuels our artistry, But again, it comes from who we are, not what we do. So what we do, people get more into what they do and reverse it into who they are, and that's not it. That's our gift we're given to share. That's what it is, from who we are. And
if it's a gift, people can feel like that's who you are, and it's like it's still not who you are.
Exactly. It's
a beautiful gift that you were given, but it still shouldn't consume every part of yourself.
Exactly.
You shouldn't go through something and be like, "Ooh, this is gonna be real good one day for a show."
No.
You're not connected to who you are, your feelings, and actually that disconnects you from your artistry.
Exactly. Yep. So, oh my God, I hope that took some notes. The first one was with your artistry. Study. She said study. And someone told me that before too. They were like, this is like like probably around like 10 years ago, they were like, oh, this is like your exploratory phase. Like watch as much stuff as you can. Like you were saying, watch things, see what your style is, what you're into, because once you start creating your things, you're gonna evolve your own style, your own way, you know, and it's gonna encompass even things you've watched or elements, but it's still gonna be your own. So like literally, and that's a fun thing to do. You're literally
Yeah. Yeah,
work
it
as an
is.
artist and to watch things, you know, and to go to
Yes.
museums, go to concerts, just literally be in art, like observe
Yeah.
art. And art is also
Observe.
nature, like just literally
Yes.
live. It's literally saying live and explore,
I
you
had a
know?
time watching all of these documentaries, preparing
Mm.
for You Think You Grown. I had such a great time. Like I spent
Mm-hmm,
a year watching nothing but documentaries, just to watch the style
mm-hmm,
and the tone and
mm-hmm,
all of those
mm-hmm,
things, because it was my first crack at it. And
mm-hmm.
as an artist, that's what we love. Like I'm
Yes,
just sopping all this up. You know what I mean?
exactly,
It's
exactly.
everything.
And
Yes.
both in it. So yes, I love that. And ownership, I agree. Protect everything, copyright. Oh God, I could go into stories. Like for real. Where it's like networks who are like, oh, like we put a reading room or like a viewer room. Well, like no reading room. They'll read over your scripts to give you feedback. And it's like they can take your script. Okay.
They're gonna take it.
Protect it. I was like, oh my God. So good thing I didn't do it. But it's like it don't matter. You think you're just starting out? No, like your work is valuable. People will see value in your work more than sometimes you will. So always
Absolutely.
protect it. So I love that. And then your wellness, yes, intention, just check-ins. So yeah, those were on point. Okay. Y'all can take what Chanel said and literally just that's all you need from this interview. All right. Like all those three things and move forward. Okay. So yeah, thank you for that. So now I want to get into like your film, like You Think You Grown. I also want to hear about just like your start with your web series. Like, let us know about going from like a web series to your documentary. You just touched on it with like watching things, like learning different styles, techniques, but speak to us about that journey and also about the film You Think You Grown.
Ooh, so with Black retail, it feels like it's home. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a comedic writer. You know what I mean? I love television. So
Mm-hmm.
that was very easy to dive in. So it's back in 2018. I'm working at a retail store and I'm going through it with customers. I'm being undermined by management. And I'm in a fitting room and I start to cry and I come out of that. I was like, this place is a show. And it was just something I said in my head, but it kept swirling. It kept
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
staying there. One day, being an artist, being observant, I just looked around the store and I looked at a crazy interaction with a customer over here, flirting co-workers over here, people running around for customers over there. There's chit chat happening over here. And I was just like, this is really a show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I love a workplace comedy. The Office is one of my favorites of all
That is
time.
one of mine too. It's literally people don't understand its character. Everybody's a character.
Everyone,
Literally.
everyone, it's so intentional. I love that freaking show. And I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to do this. But then
Yeah.
it evolved from a workplace comedy into an observation of how Black women retail in all facets of their life.
Mm.
Like, yes, we have to put on this fake smile for managers and for
Mhm.
customers as they are annoying in regular customer service fashion. But then there's a microaggression that you deal with when you are a Black woman that's in service of other people.
Yeah.
But then when you clock out, you still feel like you're in service of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was writing the pilot, and I'm writing these women with their boyfriends and their girlfriends and their families and stuff, I was like, they're not clocking out.
Yeah.
They're still at work. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the show. That's when it really started
Mm.
to grow. When it was like,
Mm-hmm.
they are working in all facets of their life. And how can we show
Mm-hmm.
this in a comedic way? So
Mm.
I wrote the pilot episode, built out this entire deck. and I hired these 3 writers, 3 incredible comedic writers, and we wrote the entire season. And I directed the pilot episode.
Okay.
And we premiered at the Toronto International Women's Film Festival, which was awesome.
Beautiful.
And that the transition from doing Black retail to You Think You Grown was hilarious, because everyone who knows my personality, they were like, of course you did comedy, of course, loved it, excited, da da da. And you know, Black retail, I'm still pitching her because she has legs and she can be a full series on her own. But when I was like, I'm gonna do a documentary, everybody was like, because you know, there's there's a sort of aesthetic that people think about document. I do a documentary, a documentary, and it's so different. And
we are in the upper echelon.
Yes. I'm not even a filmmaker. I'm a documentarian. It's a different type of filmmaker. And then with comedy, sometimes people they think that because of your jovial spirit, of course that makes sense.
Exactly.
But it was my way of showing everyone, don't predict me. You cannot predict what I'm going to come out with. You cannot predict my portfolio. I love a Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes got Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and Bridgerton in one portfolio. What? We cannot predict that woman. We just know it's going to be great.
Yes.
We know it's going to be great, and we're going to cry. We're going to cry. We're going to fall in love. and we're going to get a sickening monologue from a Black woman. That's all we know. That's all we know. No matter the time period, a Black woman is going to put on a scene. But that's all we know. We don't know what the time period is. We don't know what the genre could be. Right now, she has a documentary about the Black Barbie. You know what I mean? I love careers like that where, and I respect careers where it's like, I'm a horror person and this is what I do. I'm a comedic person and this is what I do. I love those things. But I've always been a person that wanted to explore all facets of my mind. I want to do documentaries up here. I want to do comedies, dramas, the full spectrum of it. Yeah. And actually, You Think You Grown was the first film I ever wanted to make. And I was discouraged because I was like, child, I don't know how to make no damn documentary. I don't know how to do that. Now I do know how to write a script. I know how to do narrative. Like my first film was drama, and then the rest were comedy. So I was like, I know how to write and then do that. But documentaries I was afraid of. But from 2017 till 2022, 23, I had been researching the whole time, just still preparing myself. Still preparing myself for it. Yeah. So then when it was time, I knew that this was going to be a career shift for me. And I also knew that I had grown to be this person because from 2017 till now, I grew, Black retail matured me. Next Stop, Shoulders, like all of my work had prepared me for this. I don't think I would have been able to do You Think You Grown if it wasn't for doing Black retail.
Awesome.
I really don't think so.
Now tell us, what is You Think You Grown? So we have the title is on point, but just expound on what the film is about and what inspired you to do it.
Yes. So You Think You Grown, Dismantling Adultification is a feature documentary tracking the origins of adultification and how that has manifested into the disservice and the dehumanization that Black girls and women face today. The initial, the seed that began all of this was back in 2014. I know you're going to remember this. Do you remember that disgusting petition begging Beyonce to straighten Blue Ivy's hair?
Yes.
Yeah. And at that time, I was teaching. I was teaching 6th grade at the time. And it wasn't just a petition. We was hearing about it in our families at the beauty supply. At the beauty, what's Beyonce gonna do with that girl hair? What is she gonna do? Oh my gosh, she just snapped it. Mind you, Blue Ivy is a full 2 years old. This neck just started standing up on its own. And even before Beyonce had given birth, it was all those memes pressing their faces together to see what she was gonna look like. And I was like, this is a child.
And they still do that. I just can't.
Still.
Almost like they now want to see what she looks like as an adult.
They're gonna do it until because of who her. We can get into the reasons why they hate Blue Ivy in a whole nother podcast because it's so nuanced and it does have to do with Blackness. And so I'm teaching at that time. And so I'm 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in school just a moment ago myself. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not used to being on the administrative side. So I'm
Yeah.
on the administrative side and I'm hearing them talk about Black girls. Oh my God, you
Mm-hmm.
can tell look at the way she walking. You can tell she having sex. And oh my gosh, she's got such an
What?
attitude. And she's just so nasty. Like, mind you, this young girl is tired. This young girl was just bullied, and now she's coming into your class, and of course she has an attitude because that's what you're not asking her any questions. Also, this is the first time I'm teaching at a school where there's white kids as well, so I hear the difference in how they're talking about white girls, and those two things lit a fury in me, and that is when it began for me. That was. And I was just like, I'm gonna write a movie about it, which I actually did write a film about, like a Black girl that dealt with like discrimination in her school.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like enough. I was like, I want to get to the root as to why you feel like you get to chastise this little girl, but give grace and mercy to this one. Like, I want to get to the psyche of this.
Yeah.
That's when it began.
Beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh. And like y'all gotta check this film out. And it just hits so many points. And to me though, it's like it validates a lot of Black women, their feelings. Because I could distinctly remember my aunt, and it's like, but you do have those advocates, so it's great to have them. My aunt, her daughter, I remember my cousin, spaghetti straps. They wore to school, right? And they have like little shorts. They sent all the Black girls home.
Oh yes. Oh, yes.
And the white girls who wore the same thing got to stay in school. Walk on through. And I remember my aunt, like, she would go down to that school. She would advocate for her child. But that was such a rarity, you know? So again, this is like that auntie, right? This story, like that person who's validating our feelings and what we've experienced is wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's why I named I know that's why I named the film That You Think You've Grown, because many groups of people deal with adultification. You know, when Black boys come out, it's like, oh, he gonna be a killer. He gonna have a bunch of girlfriends. He's 6 months. He just got here. He doesn't have all his bones. Leave him alone. You know, so a lot of people do, and also Black women, because we deal with so much, and we have to just muster through it. I you think when we hear that, it's like a buzzword to us. It's like, oh, because you can ask a Black woman, have you ever dealt with adultification? Well, I'm not sure. You think you've grown? Oh, I've heard that, definitely. And then it goes into a story. So often when I say the title, women just start telling me the stories of the first time they heard it. And I'm like, that was adultification. That was someone looking at you as older, looking at your young way of expressing yourself, your young body as being older than what it is, and perceiving you as older than what you are. And they're in way taking and erasing parts of your childhood and your existence that you rightfully should have. And so I wanted Black women to know that it's for us, and to kind of sit in a time when they felt that way as well. Like when I, felt like someone interrupted my childhood.
Yes, I love it. I love it. That is beautiful. Woo, woo. Yeah, I got to see this film. Okay. All right. And I know you have some premieres coming up, so we're going to talk about that a little later. But thank you just for this work. Like this is what it's about. This is what being a RareMaven is about. We're here for our Black women and all that we are, and letting our artistry speak to that. So, yes, girl. All right. So now you're welcome. This is what it's about. Okay. Intention. Remember that word, y'all. Intention. She is intentional for everything. And that's literally what will make us all successful in life. Just be intentional,
Definitely.
All right. So, let's get into a little bit of the money before this is our last two questions. Like the money. All right. We want to talk about funding, like what it takes to fund our career, and also our ideals with funding, making a lifestyle out of this, as artists. What are some of your thoughts on that? Like, what are ways that you help fund or gotten funding for your project?
So with the last two projects with Black Retail and You Think You've Grown, I did crowdfund. Shout out to Kickstarter. And sorry. And with both, if you want to go the Kickstarter or the Seed and Sparkway or Indiegogo, those are the three like main platforms to go to. The differences are with Kickstarter, you have to get to your goal. If it's $25,000, you have to make $25,000. Seed and Spark, you can make up to 80% of your goal, and then you can have that money. And then for Indiegogo, whatever you make, you get to keep. So you want to spend about 6 months planning out this. So this is a part of your pre-production plan. If you do not already have investors, I'm going to speak to the investors in a second. You want to make sure you have a deck. You want to make sure you have videos, images, pictures, because what you're doing is pitching to the public why they should fund your film. Inflation is on a rise. This country is not doing well financially. So it is very important for you to be intentional about talking about your work and why it's important to donate. For You Think You've Grown, I made a spec trailer. What a spec trailer is basically you get a bunch of images, some voice clips, some B-roll footage, as it to give people an idea of your concept. For example, how the creator of Bel Air, when he put out that trailer of like what would a dramatized Fresh Prince look like, that's what it looks like in order to make a spec trailer. So I did something like that got people's attention. And just being very consistent in reaching out to people and letting them know how important this is. Ideally, what I would love in the future, because of this work that I've done and because I've been able to fund so many films, either on my own or by crowdfund, I do hope to be connected to investors going forward. When it comes down to, anybody can be an investor, to be quite honest with you. All they have to do is just really believe in your work. In order to do that, and I said deck a couple of times, I don't think I've elaborated on a deck is basically a visual booklet of what your plan is for this project. It outlines visually what it's going to look like, your log line, your synopsis. You can add photos in there of other films that kind of look like it's in your world, but you also want to have a budget. You also want to have a marketing plan. Are you going to market via social media? Are you going to market buying ads? Really get specific on what it is that you're going to do so the investor knows that you have a plan. It's not easy to hand somebody over a $25,000 check for their film, because also this person might want to have some input on how it visually looks. So you also want to have clear conversations with your investor. You are silent. Check only. Okay. And have all those things in writing. You know what I mean? If you're going the investor, I'll make sure you have all those things in writing. Do they give input visually to things? Are they going to be looking at cuts and giving notes? Are they silent? And their name is big bold in the credits, and that is hard. Thank you very much. So you wanna, no matter how you're going to fund it, if you want to do the crowdfunding route, you want to have a plan of 6 months of who you're going to reach out to, how long you're going to crowdfund for. Are you going to do an IG live? Are you going to have multiple different social media videos? For Black Retail, I think one of our earliest marketing strategies during Kickstarter was like bringing up comedies that centered people at work. So we did Southside, rest in peace, Southside on HBO, one of the best comedies they ever had. So we did Southside. We brought up Lawrence when he worked at Best Buy and Insecure. That drew our audience in. The audience was like, ooh, okay, this is a comedy. And they are mentioning comedies that I recognize. Ooh, okay. And then you kind of bring them into your world, your comedic world as well. So I think if you want to do crowdfunding, be very, very, very intentional and strategic, plan it out to a T. If you want to do investors, I think it's best to go to mixers. There's Black Film Space has a lot of mixers. CultureCon, I think, has mixers. And have your stuff ready. Have your deck ready. Maybe if you can have there's a business card that you could scan and your information can come up. Maybe have things like that. Go to places where those money people are looking to spend money and looking to hear pitches.
Period. Listen, she is on fire. All right, y'all. She
Give us some money.
Yeah,
and there's fellowships. There's fellowships too. There's a lot of grants. There's lots of fellowships. There's an Instagram to follow. Show Run Her. She posts a bunch of grants every single month. for lots of different documentaries or narrative projects. So that's also another way to fund your projects too.
Yes. Oh, Chanel. Give it up for Chanel, y'all. She is on fire. She's dropping the realness for y'all. You know, it's just about, like she said, you gotta get out there and be intentional. Also, again, back to, you are in a business. This is your project is your product. So
it is.
That's how you shop it, like your product. Okay, and you get out here, and again, by being intentional and getting this deck done and all that, you'll be able to really attract what you're looking for. So that's literally it, y'all. You know, it is work.
It is a lot of work. Like, preparing for Kickstarter is like preparing for the film. It's so much. It's so much.
That's good to know, because I haven't done that as of yet. I've been like a self-investor for my film, so like to hear that, I'm like, yeah, that it takes intention, but I also see how it pays off with having that plan in place. You know, so
it's really equivalent to like shaking a cup on the subway for 60 days. You're on the same cart. Same cart. People are coming on, but no one's getting off. And you're just don't you want to help a Black filmmaker today? Please. You have to be, and every cycle you got to come, every stop you got to come up with something new to get them. Like it's like it's showtime. Da, 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 da.
Hey, good job.
But for 60 days straight, just give me money.
But it is a great avenue, and I'm looking at it now is these are different streams, y'all. These are different streams, and what she's giving different avenues and streams, and you can have multiple investors too. You can have, you know, different crowdfunding, to do events with it for your campaign. So just like, you know that it's possible. That's really it. Well, all right. So I'm getting to our last question. I have what we call our Rise, Shine, and Thrive song. So it's like a song where you're like, whatever's going down in life be life, and when you hear the song, come on, it just changes your world and your scope, and you feel motivated, inspired. My song is Diva by Beyonce. You put that song on, I'm like, yes, that's what I am. I'm gonna show up, pa. So what is Chanel's Rise, Shine, and Thrive song?
That is so good. You know what? I'm That Girl by Beyonce does something so crazy. Like I could really, it's something about that. I could be down and I'm like, they're not stopping me. You're right.
Nope.
They're not like, even before she starts singing, like that sample, it just like, ooh, and then by the end of it, I'm That Girl cozy put together, like that transition. I could not barely get past that transition alone when the album first came out. Those two things together, 100% can get me out of any place that I'm in, truly. Because it's so empowering. That girl knows what she's doing.
She does. She's intentional. She is very intentional with how she do it, that track list. She knows it because she pulls on different sides.
That woman right there.
Yes.
That's
she knows. I love that. Ever since Diva, she got a song on every album that is something like a diva. And that truly one, does. I'm That Girl, is that. Because it's like every album she got something like that to know. And I call it the Put Some Respect on Your Name, like songs. Like that's what I call them. It's that. So yeah, those are good ones. Okay. Well, Chanel, thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous interview. I just want you to know, like, you're putting on for the culture. You're doing all that we need, and you're setting the right examples for us as RareMavens and what it's all about. You know, like owning what we create and celebrating all that who we are, and you know, and doing the work at the end of the day. You know, and I want you to let us know about where we could find your film, the screenings. I know you have a few festivals coming up very soon, so please let listeners know where they can check it out. And
so we have Thank you. We have our big premiere at the Apollo Theater, which is crazy, in August 17th at 12 p.m. Tickets are in my bio. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the tickets. It's right there. It takes you right on over to Ticketmaster. And then we have the Indianapolis Black Documentary Film Festival coming up on August 23rd, which is amazing. So I'm going to be there in person as well. It's going to be a Q&A afterwards. I would love for you guys to come, show out, and thank you so much for having me. This was beautiful.
Oh yes, you're welcome. And yes, and follow you at is Artistic Laughter. So it's on her page. Yes. Please follow.
And like, Black Retail Series and You Think You Grown Film.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Chanel.
Thank you.